So in this video, we're going to take a look at your 6x beta 1 routine performed at the gym. Remember, your beta and gamma routines, they aren't mandatory. These are optional workouts that form the perfect complementary workouts for your 6x alpha routines. So keep that in mind. For this routine specifically, I'm doing the 6x beta 1, which is 6 exercises, 2 lower body exercises, and 4 upper body exercises. The first circuit's 2 upper body exercises, I target the core, a lower back, and an abdominals. And in the second circuit, I do biceps and triceps for the upper body. I do calf press in the first exercise of this routine, and I do a hip thrust in the second circuit's lower body exercise. Now, remember, I also said that, and if you caught on to this, then you really are paying attention. But remember, we are performing the largest muscle group exercises first, from largest to smallest. But there's an exception with the beta 1 routine, because we actually start with the calf raise or calf press on the leg press machine. And the reason for that is because right after the calf press exercise, we're going to be doing a lower back extension and then a leg raise. And to actually have the hip thrust exercise first, or paired with your back extension and leg raise, puts a lot of excess and potentially harmful tension on the lower back. And so you'll see that the first exercise I do here is the calf press, followed by those 2 core exercises, and then I do the big, giant, let's say, hip thrust exercise that targets the glutes in the second circuit of the workout. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so first thing I do always, I take my time, I review my previous workout's performance. I always look to see for opportunities for targets. I have 1 to 2 targets that I really want to improve on for that workout. Again, I'm not going to improve on any parameter, that's impossible. So you'll always have something to focus on. Maybe it will be, okay, this time I want to have a shorter rest period between exercise 3 and 4, or I really want to improve on exercise 5 on my bicep curl. Like, you'll always have a focus in terms of reps or load or rest periods. Or sometimes what happens is you go to the machine is occupied, and so that delays your time, and so you're really hoping that doesn't happen again so you can save some time. So again, you always have 1 to 2 targets in mind. Okay, so as you can see here, same cadence applies for the calf press. Press up as fast as I can, pause at the top, and 1, 2, 3, the bottom, all the way to a stretch. And I'm actually pushing quite, because it's so heavy, I'm actually pushing very fast as I can, but it's very, very heavy. Now, sometimes when it's too heavy, if you can't fully extend your foot, then what you really, really want to do is lower the weight a little bit. Okay. As you can see here, what I'm really focusing on is getting maximal contraction at the top by having a pause at the bottom, and then slowly coming down all the way to the bottom. I even into a slight stretch, and then I push with a positive as fast as I can. Up, up. See, I'm starting to get tired, not able to get up in a smooth motion. So again, slowly down, 1, 2, 3, and I hit failure. So I got exactly 12 reps. And so that was a good set. Next workout, I'm going to actually try to do 13 reps, right? Especially if I get to 12. Whenever I'm still at 12, my goal always as a target will be, okay, I must try to get 13 today. Now, one thing about this gym, as you can see, the bloody leg or hyper back extension machine is literally on the other side of the gym. So you don't want to waste too much time. So I do a slight jog, and imagine doing a slight jog right after you've just fully wrecked your calves is not the easiest thing to do. Okay, so this is going to be a weighted back extension exercise. I'm not too concerned about going up in weight with my beta exercises like I am with alpha. So even if I just, this is important to understand, even if I just showed up and did the same weight, the same load, the same reps for this workout, For me, it doesn't really matter. I'm really more focused on just covering my bases. I really want to make sure I have direct resistance on these smaller or small to medium size muscle groups. And so for me, my focus really is not in improving every rep or in going up in load as much as it is for me in my alpha workouts. This is more about just, again, covering my bases, showing up, and doing the work. Of course, when you see opportunity for improvement, you will go up, but the focus is not so much on continuous incremental progress as it is for your alpha workouts. Okay, notice I pause at the top, slowly down, and when my range will start to decrease, right? Notice that, okay, I couldn't get up without really putting a lot of strain on the back, and so I would stop, put it down, and that would be the perfect load for my lower back. Another machine you could use here is the GHD, which is an even better feeling, but this gym only has the hyper extension machine for targeting the lower back and a little bit of the hamstrings. Okay, now my lower back is really feeling it, and that's why I'm not jogging, but as I recover, as I feel a little bit better, I start to jog, try not to waste time. Now I'm actually about to start. So this is going to be my third exercise of my first circuit. Okay, so I just did my lower back. The antagonist in terms of a muscle group would be the abdominals, right? Because I'm targeting my core here, not just abdominals, not just back, both the lower back and my abdominals. Okay, what I want to show you here is both a variation. This is a bent leg raise on the captain's chair, and I'm actually going to do both versions, a straight leg as well as a bent leg in the same set, just for demonstration purposes. So what you'll see here is that this is a bent leg. I try to, again, the negative phase would be lowering my legs, 1, 2, 3, and coming up as fast as I can. Hold at the top for a second so I can control the weight, or my legs in this case. Again, straightening my legs makes it doubly difficult, right? It makes it so much more challenging to keep my legs straight doing the same exercise. Eventually you feel like if you can't maintain it, if you're not going to get to 12, you could just, again, bend your legs and to make it a little bit easier so you make your target rep range. If, for example, this is too light, again, do straight leg raises from the beginning of the exercise. And again, it will be very hard for the average person to exceed 12 reps with the legs straight with perfect form. Okay, so now I move on to my second circuit. And thank goodness, the fourth exercise machine is right next to the captain's chair. Okay, so you'll find this in your gym, but this is a leg extension machine that I turn into a hip thrust machine, which is very, very convenient. Again, you need to know what your numbers are. You need to set up the machines. You need to know the adjustment of each machine before you just start your workout. But later in the series, I'm going to show you exactly how I do that, right? How we set that up, how we prepare. That's part of the tracking series of this methodology. Okay, same cadence. I'm actually holding the clock right in front of me. Check that I'm in sync. Again, you don't even need to have a clock. I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes in the beginning how to sync your movement. But when you get very efficient, you can do this in your head. You realize the cadence. It's more of a feel than just following a mechanical prompt. So in this case, it's just going really slow in the negative, and then as you get to the end range of your rep, you do a fast positive, pause at the top, fully contracted position. Now remember, this is a gluteal exercise. The focus here is to get direct resistance on the glute muscles. Okay, if you also noticed here, I'm exceeding 12 repetitions, and so I'm actually exceeding 14, because remember, if I can get 12, I stay on the same weight. If I get to 13, I stay on the same weight. If I get to 14, I stay on the same weight. If I do 14 reps, 2 workouts in a row, it's time to increase the load to make it more difficult. But in this case, I just went straight to 15, which means in my next workout, I can already improve my load. Now, how do I know that I did 15 reps? Well, I don't do it right now, but I did count. And so later I will put it into the app where I'll say 15. And then for my next workout, I'll realize, oh, okay, cool, I did 15. I can go up in weight, assuming that your form was really good. Okay, now we move on to the fifth and second last exercise, which is the tricep pull downs using the rope. I like the rope because you have a little bit more give with the wrist position, allowing me to get full extension or make it a lot easier. Same cadence, 1, 2, 3. My pause position is actually at the bottom, okay? So because that's a fully contracted position, right there. That's the pause. Hold it, and slowly up. 1, 2, 3, all the way to the bottom. But remember, I'm actually a little bit tired at this point, even though I didn't even train my arms. But I'm not able to make 12. I did 8 reps. I've got 4 reps left. So now I'm doing rest pause. Okay, classic example, rest pause technique. So now I'll actually put 8 into my app, and then I'll put 4 as a second set. Okay, that's how I log it. I'll have 8, set 1, and then 4 as a set number 2. So I know that I had to break it at 8. And then the next time, so the next workout, I'm going to see this. I'm going to realize, oh, okay, I broke it at 8. So then I know in my mind, okay, I'm going to try to not break at 8. I'm going to go for 10 today. My goal here is 10. Okay. So now I increase the weight a little bit for bicep curl. Notice that I also do the tricep extension first, because remember the trend is we always do the posterior as the first upper body exercise first. So remember, if it was leg press, then we do a lat pull down, which is targeting the back, right? So the same way, we just did the lower body exercise, the glutes, and so my first upper body exercise for my second circuit here, which would be the extension, because it's the back of my arm. So the back of the body is always going to be the first upper body exercise. Okay, again, pause at the top. 1, 2, 3. I don't even extend my arms fully. There's no need. I don't have, when you fully extend it, you don't have resistance in the bicep, right? So why don't lose the tension. Rule number 1, don't lose tension in the entire set for as many reps as you can possibly do. And if you don't know what your form looks like, have someone record you and you can quickly see if it looks right. Even if you're not an expert, you can see bad form from a helicopter. So, and there you have it. That was a good weight for my bicep curl. I was able to make 12. And the metabolic effect of this is just as high as an alpha if you do it right.